It's like the Horus heresy, like the specifics of the Emperor's duel with Horus have certainly been. I mean, that's like the Siege of Terra has retconned original lore, right?
Yeah, they actually
Which,
play a card game in the middle of their duel.
yeah,
And I'm not
which
joking. They literally
granted,
Yu-Gi-Oh card in the middle of Horus versus the Emperor.
And everyone's hopes were dashed that actually Sanguinius went mental and he killed Horus, and then the Emperor had to put him down. It's like, nah, fun fan fiction, but no, that didn't happen.
fun theory, but no, that would be.
No,
Yeah.
Sanguinius was used to mop the floor. 100, like he got it. He got it.
He became a wall ornament, but still. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's LoreCrimes. Hello, you.
Evening, brothers and sisters.
New series.
New series, yes, indeed. I would say once again, Eli he may pop in. To be fair, tonight, Eli's a bit of a busy boy this week, though. But rest assured, the Short King will be back.
Don't worry, we're gonna kill him for it.
Yeah, we're getting him a like a baby booster seat. The one that the cinemas. That's heinous. Today, though, is this is a bit of my brainchild, my fault. Today is we listen and we don't judge. This is a new Warhammer podcast style episode where we asked you, the beautiful people who are in our Discord. Again, if you wish to join the Discord, there are links below. We asked you, beautiful Warhammer fans, about your opinions, and we wanted you to help us, get the bile out, get the hate out. Today's topic of we listen and we don't judge. We asked you which part of the lore just sucks straight up. It's like you would delete it. You would, it's what was it? You get Lennied from Mice and Men. You take it out back and you let it stroke the mice, and then it's gone. And then we did ask for a caveat.
What, the mice?
We asked for a caveat. If you had a way of fixing it, let us know as well. Today, though, we are going to hear your thoughts, your feelings, and we're not going to judge them. I did ask the boys. We do have to say it as a group, though. For the first one, though, I will be taking helm spot, though. But if you guys are with me, I'll say it right now. We listen and we don't judge. Repeat after me, Colin and Andy. We listen.
All right.
And we don't judge.
We don't judge. With one exception, this is Hal's gameplay footage, so if he does badly, we definitely judge this. But that's the exception. That's the only one we're allowed.
Okay. We listen and we don't judge.
We don't judge.
Thank you, boys. Thank you. Okay. We had our first submission here, though, for the live stream people. You may not be able to see this, but for the lovely video people, you will be seeing the actual text on screen, but we were reading it out for you people who did lovely submissions. The first one was from Bloody Shirt Music, who's a regular in the channel. We love you, brother. He says, my number one issue with the lore is that the John Blanche style of art and grimdark feelings it invokes has gone by the wayside. Too much hope in the current lore. Humanity has a leg up on everyone due to writer bias and the fact that the Imperium faction models drive sales. 40k is not nearly as grim dark as it could be, or used to be. Look at the short story Raid on Castrol Novem. It's a perfect 40k, and they don't write stuff of this quality anymore. I mean, is he wrong though? Like,
I must admit, bear in mind, I mentioned this briefly before to Hal and Colin before we started. I've been doing a lot of Drukhari content because I've just started my Eldar month of content, and so I listened to the new Lilith Hesperax book by Mike Brooks, and I was kind of set back by just how un-Drukhari it was. There wasn't any particularly evil character, and I'm also simultaneously reading the Andy Chambers trilogy, The Path of the Archon / Incubus, etc. And that book you really are steeped in. All these people are terrible, and I kind of don't like any of them, but this is a fun story. I didn't have that with the Lilith book because it was like a love story, and there wasn't enough people being turned into lamps. It was a bit weird. And there is a kind of a gloss on even the Space Marines nowadays. They're very clean and they're very, neat and tidy. Whereas you look at the old art and it's lots of globules all over their armor and like tattered banners and looking a bit menacing and scarred up. Lots of
not
like
enough
ruined faces.
not enough people furniture, would you say, in this setting?
Mm.
I mean,
yeah.
I wouldn't even, I mean, I can't judge this one at all because I think it's kind of spot on. I think GW do realize like there was like phases of when Warhammer was, I mean, I don't know what I would describe it as, like pop art, or like, you know, I'm talking green goblin bases, and it looks like a, you know, it's like it's not taking itself too seriously. And then Grimdark was almost like, you know, we hit Demonculaba levels, and I don't know if I want to explain that for the non-initiated Demonculaba people. Essentially, people skin babies' sacks things. I don't think it gets any more grimdark than that. At least I don't know if you guys know anything particularly worse than Demonculaba, but I think grimdark is definitely, it's fallen by the wayside, and I think it's almost like it's reserved for certain factions. I mean, if you, for the visual people who can't see it, I have certain, like, you know, display, not sponsored by the way, hopefully one day, display posters, and I've got like Bragg behind me, and I also have the 9th edition like Chaos Codex cover art, which I would describe as grim dark, and that one is, you know, Battle of Macragge is quite a bit older now, and then the 9th edition Codex is only a few years old, so it's still kind of there. But I know what you mean, Andy, where like there's a lot of mid.
Yeah. What about you, Colin? Any thoughts on the grimless dark future?
I don't want to call it outright like a drop in quality necessarily.
More a
it's just-
pivot.
I'm trying to think how to word it. Like, all right, for example, Infinite and the Divine, you know, it's certainly not a very grimdark book. It's a good book. It's a very fun read. It's not, and I would still say it's, you know, it's a very much a Warhammer book, but it's certainly not, you know, grim and dark. And there's a couple other books that aren't off the top of my head, you know, aren't super dark. Kivus Kane is obviously the biggest one, but there's a Rogue Trader book I read a little while ago, and that wasn't, you know, super grim or dark. And they still, you know, feel kind of like Warhammer books, but I probably would agree that, like, overall, it's like there's not enough misery anymore. There are too many people that seem, you're kind of going a little bit outright heroic with some of these fellas, and I don't know how to feel about that.
Well, although I do think it's worth pointing out there is one bastion of grimdark, and weirdly enough, it's the animations. Like all the animations, it's like the Tives one, 2 main characters, like it's pretty grim. It's like, oh, my brothers are being harvested to death. Tives episode, oh, we're like, there's a bit where like one of the psychers runs away, and then the lady in charge is like, no, Arbiter, if you shoot one of those psychers, they'll kill us all because they're worth more than all of us combined. And then like they're being shipped off to be fed to the Golden Throne. Then there's the other Tives episode. Oh, we've just done this, procure the ammunition from this battle zone and deprive the soldiers of bullets to fight the enemies, the orcs that are trying to kill them, only to be stacked onto a bunch of shipping containers on a planet with abundant ammunition just because some bureaucrat said, no, they can't have ammo, we need it somewhere else, and it's going to waste. And it's like the Hammer and Bolter episodes where it's the, you know, what's more grim than the floating down ultramarine Gravis armors fighting the Elder? That's pretty grim. But in all seriousness, like even the Gene Stealer episode where it's like, oh, these civilians are trying to escape the tyrannical Imperium, and why are they being so cruel? And then there's the reveal where they have the ridged foreheads. You go, oh no, that's why they were being so cruel. And like the animations are really grimdark, and I like that. But
do you almost feel like
less so?
Like they feel like they've almost like covered it. Do you know what I mean? Like there's almost like a sense of, we don't need to rehash it. We already know it's grim and dark. So I think, but you know what it is? It's grim and dark. It's not necessarily grim dark anymore, if you know what I mean. There's a certain
separation. Dark.
You don't want to keep repeating yourself, but at the same time, it is also, you know, in the grim darkness of the 41st millennia. If you get away from that too much, it does kind of start losing some of the charm.
And I think there's also an element of like when have chaos and the Drukhari and the Tyranids, like you need to keep you don't have to keep a contrast between like the better factions, but it's kind of hard pressed to be like, okay, they got the guys that eat everyone, the guys that skin everyone, and the guys that laugh while skinning people to sacrifice their souls to eternal torment. And it's like, well, what have you got, Imperium? We don't have unions. Like, oh, okay,
A union.
I don't know. That's like a not quite true, but like they're pretty tyrannical. But it's like the alternative is so grim. Yeah.
I would say
maybe people miss that, I suppose.
I would say like I think it's a nice softball start. I think a lot of people who are older Warhammer fans will probably feel that, but maybe people who are new into the setting are probably also thinking, I don't know what you're on about, bro. Certainly not one I would hold any judgment if you felt like, yeah, it's kind of gone too far away from what I like. Not bad start, I'd say, but I think it's progressively going to get worse as I ask Colin if you would please choose the next one.
Sure thing.
Thank you very much. That was is that Bloody Shirt Music? Yeah, Bloody Shirt Music. Thank you for that one, brother. Appreciate it.
The next one is Vokio. Boy, if Eli were still here, he'd be all over this one. Malakth not being Phoenix King after all being retconned in AOS. The original End Times twist was bad, but going forth and retconning something just makes readers lose interest in the setting if things keep changing without reason. Make up your mind, James Workshop.
This is now. How do you feel about it? This is interesting.
So, taking a lot of what he said isn't inherently even something I disagree with. Like, especially the going back and forth and retconning something, like, just because it got a negative reaction is the grave that Star Wars Episode 9 and Halo Infinite are lying in.
Yeah.
Where the last thing that was released was abominable, so they tried to move on from it, but now you have a movie and a game that are just kind of incoherent and feel like there was an in-between movie / game that really should have happened.
Do you think he should be the Phoenix King then? Is that what I can't believe Colin would imply, like Malakth should be the Phoenix King. Like
no,
the one and true one.
I'm going to say, I think honestly the biggest reason that I think to disagree with this, I mean, the comment that did acknowledge it was dog shit to begin with, so he did it. That was at least thrown in. I don't mind that it's retconned, and in a way, they didn't retcon him being the Phoenix King, because he was the Phoenix King in the End Times. They didn't get rid of that.
They retconned all the other Phoenix Kings, didn't they, as well, as part of it in some way?
They retconned them all secretly being fakes.
That's so dumb, though. Like, can we acknowledge, like, how many Phoenix Kings have there probably been? Like, at least over 10, right? And you tell me they all faked it?
That's essentially, that's what they retcon. Like, that the End Time setup, like, actually was always supposed to be Malakth, and then they AOS was like, they've all got a little bit of Assyrian's power. They retconned it. So I think something like why I'm going to disagree with that is that it's also like it's a matter of scale. Because at the end of the day, it's not a retcon that changes what happened. It kind of does change like the motivations a bit and the specifics. It's like the Horus heresy, like the specifics of the Emperor's duel with Horus have certainly been. I mean, that's like the Siege of Terra has retconned original lore, right?
Yeah, they actually play a card game in the middle of their duel.
Yeah,
they literally Yu-Gi-Oh card in the middle of Horus versus the Emperor.
Yeah, which as an aside,
and everyone's hopes were dashed that actually Sanguinis went mental and he killed Horus, and then the Emperor had to put him down. It's like, nah, fun fan fiction, but no, that didn't happen.
Fun theory, but no, that would be.
No. Sanguinis was used to mop the floor. 100, like he got it. He got it.
He became a wall ornament, but still,
it's like I view that particular AOS retcon in that vein, where it's like, the story of the Emperor and Horus. I mean, it's been through like fucking 10 retcons at this point, probably, if you went through every single iteration of it. But Horus and Big E still threw down. Horus super died. Big E only kind of died. and you know, that hasn't changed. So it's kind of how I view that one. The principle I do like that, you know, don't just retcon something because it's bad, but it's a soft retcon. I think there's a scale to it. If that makes sense, where it's like also probably like lessening the blow a little bit is even if they completely changed it and was like, yeah, no, he was never the Phoenix King and it was all a dream right before the world blew up. It'd be like, well, the world still blew up. There's no future plot points. Malakth being the Phoenix King, like no plot points are being hurt by that one being changed because the plot is over. Thank you for coming, everyone. There is no more Phoenix King.
I'm not gonna lie though. I will judge our contributor though for saying that Malakth, you know, just stick with it and just be the Phoenix King. Because I honestly don't think it was like there was no point in him. Like he's evil. Like let him be evil, bro. He doesn't need a redemption arc. You can't be evil for like how many thousands of years and be like, you know what? Turns out I was, you know, like it's like, bruh.
I know this is we are now in a Oblivion remaster world, but you know, Pathnax kind of did that, didn't he? He was like, I used to be bad, but now I'm good.
They could have done an infinitely better job, which, you know, sure enough, Volkiel said as much. The original End Times was bad. But this one again, like for all the reasons, like again, the setting is the plot lines ended and they didn't retcon the event. They retconned some of the specifics. So I don't think that one in particular is bad. But yeah, there's certainly a lot of other things.
I was going to say also hello aboard a prince in the chat. Hello.
Oh, hello, brother. Good to see you.
So
that's all the beast arises, but damn.
That's kind of where I lie. How about you? Gentlemen?
I just don't think he should have been Phoenix King. I mean, I think I don't. Oh, yeah. I think the comments spot on in terms of like the feeling of like sometimes you don't have to always keep retconning stuff. Just stick with your guns, even if not everyone liked it. At least we appreciate that. But also, I disagree with the guy saying I do judge him for. No, sorry, it's a no judgment zone. Apologies. We listen and we don't judge. I do not judge him for thinking Malakth should have been a Phoenix King, because you know he deserves worse. Andy, though, we do have another one as well. Would you like to take this one before? I'll say again, we do reminding everyone we do listen and we don't judge. We're here, safe space.
Well, we've got another LoreCrimes veteran giving a contribution. We've got Main Event Virgil. And the prompt is, the fact that there are 2 missing primarchs is dumb as hell. Think of all the interesting things you could have done with 2 more legions and all the themes left unexplored. You could have had samurai space marines, in brackets. Don't say mantis warriors, like 6 people know about them, and at least one of them is on the podcast. Yeah, pretty much. What? Or they could have done literally anything with the hundreds of cultures history has to offer. Instead, we're left with a giant gaping black hole in the middle of the lore, which, let's be honest, revolves around the primarchs. There's not a lot we can do about it now. The best I can offer is that Gilman or the Lion find out the fate of the second primarchs and try to make chapters with their gene seed, or discover some already made those chapters and name them.
So
I think we're going to be divisive on this one. You guys go ahead, because I disagree. I disagree with
I haven't, before I say why that's like any like opinion, I think I read a reason for why they exist to begin with. The original point of the 2 missing primarchs was just a reference to the Teteberg legions at Rome.
Yeah.
You know, the ones that got obliterated in Germania.
History.
And the writers didn't really, it was just kind of like a cool little thing, like, oh, we got 2 more legions we don't really talk about anymore. And it's like, you know, in theory, they did something so bad, even worse than Horus, and the writers didn't really think at the time how that might pan out. And we're now kind of with the point where we have these 2, you know, primarchs who, in theory, did something even worse than Horus. We just end up with what the, like, now the issue is, it's like, Horus joined hell and killed the emperor, and they still did something worse. You can't
Well, I
explain
mean,
that without being disappointing.
They offer cheap.
well, I think the thing, there's 2 points about that specific point though. Like, one, it's like they obviously, like, the emperor obviously nipped it in the bud before it became like a Horus equivalent threat. But I think the thing is though that, like, I would say I actually like that there's a bit of mystery in the setting in that regard, because like main event Virgil said, like, the primarchs are somewhat the fulcrum to which Warhammer revolves. Like, everything comes back to primarchs. As much as we're like, oh, Xenos are fun, it's like, let's be honest, people love the Space Marines, and the Space Marines are heavily rooted in the tree of life that is primarchs. And I think it's cool to have a couple of them that, one, give you a bit of grounding and say, hey, look, even before the Horus heresy, they weren't infallible, and it gives you a bedrock to be like, okay, they can fuck up. They can completely go against their calling, their nature as sons of the Emperor. And that means that it doesn't just come out of the blue, but also I like, for example, when you think of like an early IP like Alien, everyone loved the Alien series when we didn't know how the xenomorphs were made or who the predators were, and then we watched Prometheus and we're like, oh, that's how they're made. Okay, I guess. And like, when you remove the mystery of like these enigmatic characters or factions or species, the mystery itself can be a detriment, because it's like the untold rule of horror films, for example, is the best horror is the stuff you don't see, because you make a unique type of horror in your brain from the little bits of scant information you have, and that will be way more terrifying than making a CGI goober. And by the same extension, having narrative plots that aren't resolved, that are little blind spots, and you go, what's going on with that? Like, where did the Tyranids come from? I never want to know, because they're more menacing, knowing that there's speculation. And with the Primarchs in mind, the Lost Primarchs, I hope they remain enigmatic, because I don't want to delve into that. We got enough Primarchs. I mean, how many people say, no more Primarchs, please? We've got enough. We don't need those.
say that.
There's too many already.
There's enough Primarch to go around. We can share Primarch.
Yeah.
And
it's I was just really quick. Like, I agree. It's like one thing about a mystery is like, one, when you solve the mystery, there is nothing left to talk about. It's like, ooh, like what? It's like you're reading a Sherlock Holmes book. It's like, well, kind of at the end of the book, he solves the mystery. We can all go home now. Like, there's rereading like a mystery book or playing like a mystery game is almost kind of pointless. It's like, well, I know what happened. Like, there's no suspense anymore. Plus, there is also the, if it's a bad mystery, like if the twist turns out to be shit, it's like, well, now there's nothing left to talk about except, the reveal, and I hate the reveal. So now we're just double screwed because what they came up with was bad, which I know, like, fear of them cocking it up shouldn't be the main reason they don't reveal. But for something this big, I do feel it's both healthier to leave it alone, and they would have to do something real big for it to live up to, I mean, God, 20 plus years of however many years of real life buildup. And it's like, if you do not absolutely nail it, this is going to just suck. Like, there's no in between. I don't think this can be an okay reveal. They would have to nail it, or
the surprise.
And with the whole
in the box the whole time.
Well, but also to the micro point in Virgil's thing about like Space Marine Legion descendants, like, we already kind of have that, because we know the Ultramarines and Imperial Fists received the kind of the leftovers of those legions. And there's a whole theory about, for example, the Soul Drinkers. They're recorded as an Imperial Fist chapter, but then we find out in their own books that they're not Sons of Rogel Dawn. And it's like, what the heck's that about? We know your history. We know you come from the sword brethren of like the original Imperial Fists, kind of like the Black Templars, but you're not genetically tied to Rogel Dawn. Maybe they're from one of the two legions, and it would make sense why they're so weird. Like, our guy in charge has spider legs. That's pretty messed up. What's going on there?
Yeah. You know what? With Virgil's point, I actually have to disagree with him. I think there should be twice the amount of missing primarchs. Quite honestly,
Ooh.
I would double it and hand it to the next guy.
Hal,
You know what I mean?
Well,
Hal,
you-
you do realize that there are like what 7 missing loyalist primarchs. We've got that. We
No,
already have
no.
that. They're all missing.
No, he
Again,
wants
hear me
total
out.
no-namers.
Hear me out. Would anybody with a family and friends and a good life be sad if the Alpha Legion and Raven Guard were annihilated from Warhammer lore? like they died to, like the legions died in the Horus Heresy. Like, gone. I would not be upset
I'd be
if Corvus Corax got shanked in the dark and went missing. If Alfarius' own scheme backfired and he ended up getting, sucked into some blades or something, some terrible ending. I do, but I think Virgil has a
like
point
an incredible character.
Virgil has a point here, which is the legions are, from a cultural inspiration side, like, do I need another, like someone's like, we've run out of Greco-Roman, but don't worry, I've got more Greco-Roman in the back. Like, that's how it always feels. So some of them, when they have the Horus Heresy or other things, they had an opportunity to address the point that Virgil makes, which is like, where's my samurai goddamn space marines? And I mean the legion of samurai space marines, not white scars.
We'll just put all the Asians in the white scars. It's fine.
No, yeah,
There's
yeah.
even a bit of, is it Zhang Zai is more like Japanese coded than, for example, like Targetai. So they go like, oh, he's from a different planet. That's why his armor is like a little bit different. He's got like the samurai look. He's got like a massive forehead for some reason. That's beside the point. We'll just lump them all in.
We don't. They're space marines. I don't need a stealthy espionage space marine. It's a shock troop. It's a tank. Like I think you're literally the Horus Heresy without the Alpha Legion.
We're literally looking at
Raven Guard. It's almost the exact same thing. Let's be honest. And if
Hal,
you had
we're
double the
literally
missing
watching you
Primarchs,
play Space Marine 2 as a Raven Guard. What's going on?
I'm just saying. I think you could almost like have it like we knew Corvus Corax. Like more of them should be dead. That's what I'm saying. More should be dead.
I will say for like the culture aspect, it's like we don't need another Primarch to have more cultures of Space Marine. Like that's I will say that is something I do just flat out disagree with.
Although I will heavily disagree with what Hal just said about the Raven Guard, because like, let's be honest, how cool is it to be like, hey, we're gonna like stealthily sneak in like a Sherman tank within the midst of your lines? Like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, how did you sneak that thing in? It's huge and it's like deadly. Like, I like that you can just like, yes, you can have them drop podding in, but I like the idea that you can just sneakily hide like a super soldier behind enemies' ranks, clad like an Abrams, and just like, yeah, that's our thing. Deal with it.
It is kind of funny.
It's cool for like
this
it could be a part of other things though. It doesn't have to be a whole legion itself. Like I just thought, okay, Virgil, I disagree with some parts, but I agree with the second statement. I think do we have some donos before we get way too far?
Yes, we do. We have
apologies, brothers.
Donos. Thanks, everyone. So first one from Dwartenwerther. Very fun name for 999. When will Chegarak get off his ass, have some fun, and have Lucius constantly respawn in Comora?
He's been there though.
That'd be kind of funny.
Well, to be fair, reading the books I've been reading this last week, it seems like he knows that he'll get ruffle stomped by Slaanesh. So his whole thing is just, I'm going to hide in the shadows and go tee hee 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 and try to whittle away Slaanesh's influence from the shadows, because he knows if he goes da-da, it's like crunk, dead. But he's a funny man.
He does sometimes punch Slaanesh in the jaw, though. That's how he does save Solitaires on death. I
do also like the tidbit that also apparently occasionally he just like inhabits one of his Harlequins on the sly, and he's just like,
oh yeah,
I'm just a Harlequin, don't mind me.
Give us, that's what I'm saying. Get rid of Raven Guard and Alpha Legion and give us more Eldar Horus Heresy. It would have been perfect. Oh, okay, speaking of the devil from earlier, bloody shirt easy for $2. Hal Goons to Father Dagon and Mother Hydra. Thanks, brother.
Ooh.
I'm much more of a Moloch Baal kind of dude.
Oh dear.
Oh my god.
That's an interesting Daedric prince to prefer. Any particular reason?
Actually, no. You know what? I change it to Boethia.
Put the pressure on.
Yeah.
He goes, no, I'm getting out of that.
yeah, maybe not. The god of what? Let's not say it.
Yeah. Fuglis El Bosso, €5. Who wins, Mr. Landlord from Smiling Friends or Sinch? Anywho, praise to the dark gods.
We're going to play some Need for Speed for the PlayStation 2 and smoke weed and drink Diet Cola. Or fuck, what did he say?
That got restored at some point.
Zach is a treasure. He's not a national. He's an international treasure.
Okay, best name ever. Optimus Jedi for $2.
Jeez.
The Suck TM. I think he's
equals Erda.
Erder. Oh wow. Absolute
Alright.
legend of the chat.
Shalaxi's wettest gripper for 5K. Andy's fixing 40K Warhammer podcast is according to my BF. Sexy Bob the Builder. Can I fix it? No, it's fucked. Yeah, thank you. It's good. It's good fun. Go get the Easter one at some
Is
point.
Bob the Builder not already sexy? I mean, sorry.
pretty
Yeah,
sexy.
Joe,
Ooh,
$5. He should read the Dawn of Fire series. The Imperium only takes a dub in book 3. Every other book after book 3 is the Imperium taking massive L's. But it also has the Wolf Time, and it's not the Wolf Time.
Well, that's the only one I've read, and I was like, this is a weird book. My reference for that series is a bit skewed. Do you want to get this one, Colin?
Medicare insulin.
Wow.
5.
Hey.
Why the F are you guys so early? Where's the fentanyl, Colin? I have asked to do it an hour early because I need to go to my grandma's later.
It's at the Canadian border.
I also, gentlemen, I apologize. I will be right back. I am about to have an emergency.
Go for it. It's all right.
Okay. Go. We got this. T for 499. You guys should put a pic of Colin's forehead up on the screen and play tic-tac-toe in what that was. I'm glad he's not here to hear that. That's very mean.
Wow.
Very mean. Naughty.
Listen, okay.
Naughty.
Everyone who's in the Discord, post a pic of your hairlines before you insult ours, okay? Okay, all right, yeah. You pay tic-tac-toe on our foreheads. I'm pretty sure, we could fill out our tax forms on some of you lot, okay?
What's that saying? Those in glass houses shouldn't throw boulders or something like that.
Smooth pebble heads. Tralloak, Hegarty, for $10. As a colossal Templars fan, I hate the fact that an ancient Siggy managed to effectively beat, in brackets, ignoring Chaos Shenanigans, Abby. Like, it'd have been better if Abby one-tapped him to show, hey, I'm the big bad. I mean, it's kind of a send-off to Sigismund, isn't it, though? He deserved...
Yeah, and Sigismund's a weird one just because he's like, he's basically reputed as the Space Marine. And he's extremely terrifying when he's imbued with the Emperor's, like, faith. So I think that counters the Abaddon's not like imbued with chaos yet, and if he was, it'd be a trounce. But I think, and also Abaddon's known as like, he just goes for the kill when he sees it, and he's like, damn the consequences, and that's why he's so vicious. But I don't mind Siggy getting a good win.
It was a good fight.
Yeah.
That was an Angry Homunculus for £2. Wasn't Firelord Ozai the Phoenix Kings? Is it the Phoenix Emperor in Avatar Last Airbender? I don't remember.
Oh, that's what the reference. I don't know anime. I was like, huh?
Bro, it's been so long since I've seen Avatar Last Airbender, man. It's my childhood.
I'm an old man. Limper 106 for 5. First time catching you live. Can we talk about Archaon having the dumbest reason for turning to chaos, or was that retcon too? Thank you very much. Hope you're enjoying the stream.
It's not retcon.
I don't know much.
It's, I think, if you check out a few episodes back, our lovely friend Mr. Dreadnought did point out, like, at the time it was unique in terms of like Archaon's journey being, I make my own destiny and I'll do it because I want to do it, not because I was told to. But then basically they kept copying that, and then like Abaddon's like, yeah, I'm not going to champion a chaos unless I really feel like it. So it's like unless I'm in the mood, like lead. Yeah, so good.
You know what that reminds me of? It's like when your mum tells you to clean your room, you're like, yeah, it's like, I'll do it myself. And then you get forced and it's like, I was going to do it anyway.
It's like Ryan from The Office when he says, don't lead me when I'm in the mood to be led. Like, that's the kind of thing. Oh, this is movie. Oh, God, I'm being targeted. Nice. Medicare insulin for $5. Hal just hates I guess it's Malakith, because he lost a prison shower fight post soap drop against him and the entirety of Chaos. Bloody hell. Thanks, brother.
It's a long queue. Oh, I like this. LoreCrimes littlest piggy bag. Hello again, friend. $5.
Oh,
Oink!
that's
In
so
brackets. Derogatory. Very cute.
derogatory.
Very
Oink.
cute.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Cute and concerning simultaneously.
Thank you guys so much.
Oh,
You've been very generous.
Neon. Hey, I haven't seen you in a while.
Neon, good
Welcome
to see you,
back.
buddy. €5. I have a plot hole in 40k. It's always bothered me. So custodians are super expensive to create, right? How did Big E create 10k of them on Terra? Took him quite a while, and I guess maybe it was easy with the Emperor. I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, he's also got like 1 million worlds at the height of their power. So like he had a rapid expanse through the Great Crusade where it's like we've gone from just Terra to like, oh, all these like planets that have been doing their own thing for like several millennia. Oh, your stuff's mine now, lol. So
I think they like from the just like a small lore tidbit of that, like a lot of them were captured sons of post-Terran warlords. So I think they all came in batches, if I'm honest, brother. They batch made slightly, and then they also don't die really, unless it was like the Horus Heresy. But they don't really die, so they kind of maintain their numbers quite well.
I got told off by a comment recently because of my Custodes videos. Like, actually, they do age because look at Trajan Valoris, and I was like, well, at the time, I'm pretty sure the sources I was saying like they don't age because they're custodians, but then all of a sudden Trajan went from like, look at my like my beard and my hair, and it's like gray. They just went, screw it, he's gray now. Okay, where did that come from?
Yeah, some of them have like gray mustaches. It's a choice, but you know, maybe it's like the whole thing of like the way to make them isn't as good as when the Emperor did it.
Maybe. Groinath for 55 try. Also a military setting, albeit a fictional one, needs special forces and intelligence operatives. 40k is a military setting in the end.
We did have a comment just very briefly by a Border Prince, our brother, in the chat. He said, please discuss Gilliman getting captured after rezzing, then breaking out of prison because they also kept all the weapons and tanks in the next cell. Yeah, that was a bit of a Blackstone conundrum, wasn't it? Lovely.
Although I also find it amusing that if you play the Chaos campaign of Battlefleet Gothic, you basically just like capture Gilliman and put him in the hold of your like ship. And he's like, oh, you're a bunch of dicks. Like, shut up, Primarch. I won. Oh, that's crazy. How did this guy get like, how did you beat a Primarch? That's crazy. Also, last one from Monkey Man.
Of course. Donkey Man USA, $5. Belated. Stream late due to Hal gooning to Colin Impreg. Can't believe I was 30 minutes late. Donkey Man USA, appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
The next prompt that I do have, let me grab that up for there. We didn't do that one, did we? This one was by, okay, sorry, we listen and we don't judge. Again, not judging. Uber Troll said, one other gripe I have is how unbelievably irrelevant Xenos feel to the plot of 40k. In like quotations, the Tyranids are a massive threat. That always takes a backseat to Chaos. The Tau aren't going anywhere while Phil Kelly is pretty much assassinating what made them unique to begin with. Do I need to explain the Eldar? The Necrons had something going for them as a major plot point before it fizzled out for Chaos threat. The Orcs are pretty much cannon fodder and the main plot for the villain, which is usually Chaos. The Votan barely exist. I mean, it's it's valid. It's so valid, man.
To be fair, again, listening to the Lilith new book, I was talking to Colin about it and my thoughts on it as I was going through it, and he mentioned like, oh, it could be worse. It could be the Leagues of Votan, and then a minute afterwards, I was listening about how a bunch of Votan are captured and put in the arena and like slaughtered. I'm like, oh, they can't catch a break, dude. What's going on? This is crazy. Bit of a shame.
I don't think they know how to. It depends, like, because like again, it's like the Xenos stuff doesn't really fit into the grim dark vibes too much, as like not something that they can't do, but like nowhere near as well as like what is essentially a Space Marine and Chaos story. It's why like things like the Infinite and the Divine, they basically end up being their kind of own stories, like their own thing. Like the Infinite and Divine is funny, The Orc books are,
Mm.
funny. So I just think GW don't know a really good way to kind of, like there should be like things that complement each other and like all adds on, but rather they just like they're two different things fighting for control of like, like the protagonist thing in the story. Also, to be fair, in slight fairness, it is Space Marines are just going to always be the main thing. Bloody Horror Heresy is just Space Marines.
Yeah.
The Xenos are even more irrelevant in that one. It does suck pretty bad that Xenos really don't get a lot of love. But I mean, they'd get more if we bought more of their stuff. That's the thing. Like
Yeah. I mean, even I'm really enjoying the Drukari books, the trilogy I'm getting through right now, because it's so good at fleshing out like what Comora is about and the political stuff, and then there's all these disjunctions which because basically Comora is like on the precipice of falling into the clutches of Slanesh. So they're all like, don't bring any psychers, don't do any psyker stuff. We don't want to like upset the balance. And then the whole plot is about they're threatening to cause a disjunction, which will like veer it over the proverbial like tip of the iceberg. And I'm like, that's really cool. Too bad, even in the Lilith one, we don't really get much of that because it's like, oh, Eldar just so much potential and no chance to shine, and that's coming from me, Mr. Space Marine. And there we go. And I mentioned Eldar, and here comes Colin. Hello, buddy.
Terribly sorry, but that sounds perfect.
If Colin would like a brief summary of the prompt, which I'll read it out to you, Colin, for your take. It was by Uber Trolls, and he said, one other gripe I have is with how unbelievably irrelevant Xenos feel to the plot of 40k. In brackets, the Tyranid are a massive threat, but they always take a backseat to chaos. The Tau aren't going anywhere while Phil Kelly is pretty much assassinating what made them unique to begin with. Do I need to explain the Eldar? The Necrons had something going for them as a major plot point before it fizzled out for more chaos threat. The Orcs are pretty much cannon fodder in the main plot for villains, which is usually chaos. The Votan barely exist. Now, Colin, this probably hits a bit.
Yeah.
It's just straight facts.
I just agree on all fronts. Like I honestly, I think more so about the Tyranids than anything. Like, and the Orcs, it's like, so you have these massive hordes of all-consuming, all-fighting aliens. You want to make them look threatening no, okay, that's fine. That's the one Tyranid win is going to be decided by fans, like with the Leviathan launch when it was Tyranids versus Space Marines. That's the one win they're gonna get is because the fans voted for them to win because they've been shit on for so long. I mean,
just facts, isn't it? It's just straight facts.
I feel they start doing it like AOS does with the Stormcast. I know it's like the Space Marines are the selling point. I get it, and that's fair, but AOS, the Stormcast are, the poster boy faction, but they're allowed to lose, and the spotlight goes to other places for, fair amounts of time, and then it comes back, and then it goes somewhere else, and it comes back. I feel like that would be much healthier overall for the hobby. Like, I'm not saying take, Space Marines are clearly like, they're the poster boys. I have no issue with that. It's just, the poster is there to sell everything, like a movie poster is not just there to show you the people on the poster. Like if I go see, I don't know, let's see, I go see an Avengers movie and it's just nothing but Chris Evans jerking off towards the camera for 2 hours straight. I'm going to feel a little let down.
It's Captain America and Johnny, what's his name? The one who's on fire, and just them. That's the whole film. It's like a buddy cop.
Yeah, Johnny Storm.
Johnny Storm.
But the thing is, Civil War, not wrist saw.
Here's a question for you, though, right? So obviously, to give some momentum to these factions, we need to have credible threats that will like push their narrative forward. So, like Comora, for example, is on the precipice of the disjunctions. Yeah. Sending them wholesale directly into like Slanesh's gob, and the Imperium. It's like, we have primarchs. That's your yardstick to figure out how bad are things. The more primarchs come back, the more it's like, again, it's the end times. and I say end time specifically, does Warhammer 40k need an encroaching end time? And I know they're like, hey, that's kind of the point of like Cadia fell, the end times are now, the wolf time is here, blah blah blah. But like the Inari, we're going to resurrect the god of the dead to kill our arch nemesis Slanesh. But where is the line of here's the threat that needs to be taken out to, oh no, we've gone too far, the setting's over now, we can't make any more minis? Like, where is that line? Where is that?
Like, it's just, I mean, like, but with most things,
that's something. It's like,
I guess you go, Con.
No, you go on ahead.
I was gonna say, like, it just is it Twice Dead King, the Necron book? The Imperium are the enemy in that, and they're like an outside force, and like they show up in their massive fleet, and it's so you still get a bit of Imperium in some way. And it's like, just do the same thing where like the actual antagonist is the Imperium, like generally, and it will be terrifying. You know, Croftworld is like, you know, we're doing all right. We actually like made a big, you know, progress against like Slanesh. Oh, turns out this whole entire chapter is now attacking our Craftworld.
Al,
not
I think that specific example we had, what's his name from the Death Watch, and people are not very happy with him. We should kill Slanesh. No, that's cringe.
Yeah, but it's like it's
I do get what you're saying, though.
It's great 40k, but it's so frustrating that these people can't work.
Like it kind of pops back into like the first point that was made, like the very first one. It's like, you know, everyone's the bad guy here. We can have the Imperium be depicted in the villain slot every now and again, and that would give those other factions something to do. You know, fight the big guy, fight the main character.
I will say that we probably have to get a bit of a. I'll say we're going through it slower than I thought. We actually love discussion, but we'll get to the. If I say with that comment though, I think the guy's straight up facts though. The next one though.
Is it my turn?
Yes, it is. Yes.
From Quantum Cthulhu. Thank you. I wish Magnus didn't fight like an absolute moron in every fight he's in. Ahriman turning into a murder of crows to destroy a brother captain of the Grey Knights within the space of his two hearts beating is cooler and more creative than any Magnus battle I've read about. Even just what Mephiston does would be all right. Magnus is supposed to be more powerful than him, yet he doesn't even try in fights. In the Ahriman books, Ahriman insta-heals via sorcery, and Astrios is able to phase through bullet fire. Magnus also has access to future sight, transmutation, and time stop. He could just stop time, Dio Brando, turn the air in the enemy's lungs to ceramite, or the necrodermis on a Necron's skin to bubbles. He doesn't have to win every battle, but I think there have to be a big enough gathering of blanks or high-order Necron/Blackstone shenanigans. Just let bro make his kingdom of Psychers pulls. He did kind of do that last one. He Sortarius, right? He dragged into real space. Yeah. I've got nothing for the entire.
Is now in real space.
Sodiaria. Yeah, I've got nothing for the entire preceding paragraph in front of that last point, though.
I do judge this. I do. I want to judge this one so badly because I can't support any Magnus support out there. I really think if Magnus got hit by a car, I wouldn't call the emergency services. Like, he needs to go. He's such a douche. And I think that's. Oh god, I just get upset by Magnus. Ahriman books, by the way, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes they were a little bit like, you know, and then I did that thing and that, you know, it's a little bit like, you know how in anime you can hear them talking throughout the entire fight, and then in reality they're like, you know, like, I'm gonna charge up my blade and then I push forward to my greatest strength, and you're like, bro, you know, how long is this fight?
The thing about the Ahriman books is it reminds me of Grey's Anatomy. I'm like, this is still going on. 5 books. You've got 5 books and we're still at the first. Like, what is going on?
Oh no, it got better, Andy. It got better, Andy. Book 4, he fought a Necron for this time machine thing. Book 5, they almost get drowned out and burned by something they did in book 3. Ahriman travels back in time to the end of book 3. So book 4 and 5 never happened.
Oh, great. Fantastic.
God. It's a yes. Magnus can absolutely get it though. I find him frustrating. But it's also a really good point though, in the fact that like John French, who does write a lot of the Ahriman books, that guy knows how to write like a psychic fight scene. He's clearly quite good at it. Whereas other things with Magnus though, is like he was always doomed to be an idiot. So no matter who got in charge of writing him, it was like, yes, he's he's got one eye, but he's truly blind. You know what I mean? The joke's
Well,
there.
the thing about Ahriman, it's like Sinch himself is itself is just like, hey, I have him on the proverbial treadmill because if he ever accomplishes what he wants, I have no use for him because he'll just not be my pawn anymore. And I'm the god of mischief and trickery and messing around and trolling. So yeah, that's Sinch. So Ahriman can never get what he wants because that's antithetical to his character.
Remember,
Awesome.
guys. Remember, Ahriman never gave up, so neither should you. Okay, keep grinding. That's the thing.
No matter how many people you hurt along the way, that
Ahriman has never
the
given
moral.
up. Dude is an inspiration, honestly. I would say I wouldn't, again, a lot of these guys are pretty spot on, but I do judge the fact that this no, sorry, it's no judgment zone. Apologies. No judgment zone.
Hold on, this was your whole operation. This operation is your whole operation.
Thank you, Quantum Cthulhu, for that one. Andy, there's a bit of a by the way, thank you everyone for the submissions, by the way. Really appreciate it. Again, join this Discord if you want to see all the amazing, like, cool stuff there, and there'll be more of this stuff in the future. It was really helpful that everyone submitted their stuff. Some of them it did devolve. If you want to check it out, it did devolve quickly into an argument the day I made that, which was quite hilarious. So the next one, Andy, is Anemic Slug.
And if you do want to join our Discord, an easy way to find it, just put discord.gg/LoreCrimes. We have a custom URL, so you can just find it with that. Anemic Slug, great name. I think Bretonnia should be more technologically advanced.
TLDRing this one, I did read through it.
Okay. Well, I think Bretonnia should be more technologically advanced than the 12th century, with the occasional bits and pieces of plate armor, but just me, I guess. They don't need to be Empire 2, but Christ almighty, it physically hurts to look at them beside soldiers of the Empire. Gunpowder, please, but the Bretonnian never irrelevant, hardly exists relativistic to the supposed prowess and importance they have in lore. But the extra, not Bretonnia by and large. I think a good technological level for them would be the 14th, earlier 15th century, with some additional flarings from the 12th and 13th centuries for the aesthetic and whole knightly charade. On top of this, I am disgusted by the terrible representation of the Kurgan and the Hung. Hung. They're literally just Norskans on horses, or Norskans but smelly Mongoloids. Oh, do you know about that? In like the 4 depictions of them that exist, Tamarkan notwithstanding, they should look less like the Chaos Roiders than Norskans are, even if they insisted it's all natty, and more like extra evil Scythians, Sarmatians, and Mongols/Huns, and in my opinion, should also be further fleshed out. There's more. Some more developed Ontilia, Istalia, and Arabi, too. While we're at it, I would be appreciated as well. I can't really provide a how-to for it, but at least on Tilia's instance, some more Al-Antica style armors and arms would be appreciated for the Riemann inspiration. In this instance, I also mentioned the leaning Pisa Tower castle shit bongs and Tillians is functionally stupid. It's a weak point of the castle resting outside the walls that is knocking over. Will bring down the rest of the single tower most castles have. Why? Stupid! Silly! Come up with something else, GW. Please, for the love of God, anything is better. Last line. Ramble over, in brackets, for now. None of these solutions are like that good anyways, but I have to say it. That was
roasted the Tower of Pisa. We listen and we don't judge, boys.
Pizza.
Colin, would you take this one, Colin, please? I think we need some help.
Of course. But fun fact about the horrid person who made this comment, she is the first person to draw my character pregnant. So, yeah, thank you for that.
I like how you said the first, because there will be more.
There is more. I've seen 2 more in the Discord.
Shout out to the pregnant Colin art. We really appreciate that. Shout out to my
hashtag
Colin.
Do we appreciate
hashtag
that?
Colin.
Motherfucker speaking French.
Just be pregnant, Colin.
I'll go from the bottom up. I mean, it would be nice with more, development for Talia, Estali, and Arabi. More so Arabi, because that would be pretty cool to see, like a Islamic themed Warhammer army. That'd be pretty fucking sick. That would be fun. Estali and Talia, that'd be neat too. I think just the problem is, the Empire's kind of already got the Renaissance thing going on, which isn't to say, you know, they have to be the only ones, but it would be a lot harder to visually distinguish, like, this dude is Spanish Renaissance versus this guy is German Renaissance. You're still going to have a lot of the same themes going on as the issue with like the models and the units and whatnot. Could, you know, certainly would be nice to see them develop, but there's a lot more people that need a either an appearance or anything like that in, like, you know, the old world before we get to those guys. Going up, I see you are like this one of 5 people who care about the Kurgan and Hung. I guess it's kind of me. There are other like different variations of chaos warbands, which I kind of goes in like the same thing for Tyle and Estalia, you know, Araby. It would be nice to see them, but I think even for them, more than those 3 countries, 2 countries, Araby certainly could be its own thing, but like even more than a Tyle and Estalia, it's like you can make them like, you know, maybe a unit. Have a couple different model kits for the old world Chaos Warriors, but I don't know about a whole. I don't think they need a faction. If I'm to be terribly frank, the Norskins aren't even technically a faction in Old World or Warhammer Fantasy. They're that's only in Total War where they're own independent entity. Otherwise, they're just a Chaos Warrior army. And the first one, no.
No. I mean, isn't that their whole shtick? Like Bretonnia is the whole shtick. Like, they don't want to progress.
I don't like the shtick. I find it boring. But the answer to fixing the shtick is not to give them guns, because then they would just be Empire 2.
Yeah, I mean the fact that they trebuchets, let them have their little trebuchets.
Could you give them like some crazy little crossbows? That's like, it's not a gun, it's not a bow, but it's like it's a cheeky crossbow,
like the one from Van Helsing, or something. You know?
Yeah.
Peter crossbow,
like the Inquisitor ones. Yeah,
I also
like Slave Night Gale from Dark Souls 3.
This is, you know, I'm just going to address the person specifically because they've gone on a tangent about the differing types and depictions of armor and how they're vastly different sets of armor. In real life, fair enough. For a tabletop game, not a single human being is going to appreciate the difference in the medieval style helms this would require. Like, if you bring them up from like 11th century to 13th century, you know, knightly helmets, you'll notice, a couple other people will notice, the Warhammer fan base at large is going to go, oh, hey, it's a different Bretonnia kit. That's still a guy on a horse. It's like there is like that. Bringing them up like technologically like that is just going to make them Empire 2. I don't think that's the answer.
I don't want Bretonnia man riding on a horse. I want a Bretonnian man who has a helmet which a horse sits on top of. I want ridiculous. I want it worse. You know what I mean? I want them almost more downgraded. So before we do the next one, I think we have a few more donos. Very much appreciate it, guys. Everything
we do.
Very generous. Thank you guys so much.
First one from Kabanda's Mighty Schlong for 10 buckaroos. I hate how useless greater demons feel. They're supposed to be the most powerful beings each god has to offer, and they often get their shit pushed in dueling with space marines or their equivalents. Yeah.
God, let an ultramarine.
The trouble with well, the trouble with greater demons though is that because they can never truly die, if they're too strong, then they're just impossible to deal with. Like, the caveat of their power is that, no matter how many space marines we lose fighting this guy, we kick him in, he'll be gone for like 10 years, and that's useful. And even then, it's super weird. Like the amount of times like Mortarian's been decked by the Ultramarines and Grey Knights, and he's like, I'm back again. It's like, we just got rid of you. What is going on? So demons are a peculiar case in that regard.
Yeah.
Bean.
$2. Yup, another hashtag Artemis sweep.
We love to see it. And Tom Warren. Oh, this one's for you, Hal, I think.
So Tom Warren for $2. So Hal reveals that no judgment was a lie. I'm trying my best, brother. I'm trying my best. In fact, tell me now, you guys are all listening. You're not judging. Yeah. I just like how Hal.
Before we even started I was like, just make sure you don't judge, and he was the first to start judging. Like, how dare!
I say, if you guys have any disagreements or thoughts on some of the questions throughout, do a comment below, and we'll see if you guys disagree or agree, or which bit do you think maybe you could add to the your heavily controversial lore piece you want to change, or you think it just sucks. Colin, do you want to take this one? He's on mute. I can't hear him.
He's on mute.
No,
Yeah.
Nope.
no,
No.
You're
Okay.
Joe with the $5. Yeah, for the love of writing, can we please get more Xenos-based books? I really hope Space Marine 3 has a Drukhari villain. That'd be neat.
That'd be cool.
Probably not.
Maybe just. Well, the thing is, I don't think you could get them for like an enemy type, but I like the idea that a Drukhari is just behind the scenes manipulating things. That'd be very in character.
Yeah,
because they don't have manpower like the Tyranids do, for example. They can't hurl a bajillion Drukhari at you, but you could definitely have him as like, it was me all along, stupid monkey. Like, oh, that guy's a dick.
they could be a boss fight. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Limper 106 for $5. Too bad nobody likes niche Xenos stories. I want a novel from old One Eye's perspective. Definitely leak some Votan. Do something out of left field. I don't know. Like, I'm surprised the amount of people who says like they want a Tyranid perspective story. Like, from all the things I've read, like, is it Devastation Evolve? It's like from the perspective of a lictor, which is like even smarter than most other things. It's just hungry. Like,
what's that like server species that look like crocodiles who serve the Tyranids? Have it be that guy who's like, have a Zote as the main character, and they can be like
Zoe the Zote.
Yeah. And then that's an easy way to be like, you can have some character, but also it's like you're trying to glean the knowledge of the Tyranids from a third party who's the most intimately involved, but it's still got this mysterious. I don't kind of know what I'm talking about. They're weird, and I'm a crocodile. Like that's how you do it, in my opinion.
Relatable.
And last one here. Do you want this one, Colin?
Sure, Tiago Silva with the
Great name.
With the 10R. Thank you. So amazing to watch your content, because it's great to see people who don't take Warhammer lore too seriously and who don't get mad if my Ultramarine veterans have white Aquila instead of gold.
Paint your models how you like, brother.
I feel the best rule for anything like that is it's your model. Paint it how you wish.
Yeah, I mean, just it's really cool.
And not being funny, the Ultramarines are a bit lax with some. Even the fourth company, they're like, oh, Uriel Ventris was supposed to be master of the fleet, and then he was like, I'm going on holiday. I'm going on a sabbatical. You can be the master of the fleet. And they've got like an admiral space marine. It's like, oh, Lord Admiral, is he a captain? No, they're fast and loose with the rules all the time, and they're the ones who wrote the codex.
Well, the Codex Astartes does not support this action. I forgot what I was going to say. I was saying something else to much ruder then. I just pull myself out there. Pull myself out of the gutter. Is there any more, or should I go to the next one?
I believe that's
all of them.
Back into the fray.
Back into the fray. We listen and we don't judge. By Tax Haven, which really putting a strain on the no judgment part there. I think a dumb piece of lore was during the War of the Beast. How a group of 7 Harlequins stormed the Imperial Palace, kills dozens of custodies, only for the message to be the Beast is coming. So my proposed change would be a group of 10 Harlequins slaughter all but 1,000 of the custodies guarding the palace, and their goal wasn't to give a message to the Emperor.
Hell yeah!
But to take advantage of the pandemonium that the War of the Beast is causing to try and assassinate Big E in order to destabilize the Imperium for the survival of the Eldar's race.
All right.
One last bit, Andy.
He's almost done, Andy.
Give the Eldar the dub they need. Make the Eldar as a whole lot more hostile towards the Imperium, in brackets, which I think has been missing as of late, as well as justify the competitive racism that the Death Watch has for all Xenos. Wow.
All right. I need to clear something up here because it's a bit of a meme. The Harlequins killing about custodians. The writer has acknowledged it was a mistake. He didn't mean custodians. He meant the Lucifer Blacks, who were the guardians of the palace. So it's not canon. It's a mistranslation sort of thing. It's like they were killing the Lucifer Blacks, who are pretty elite, but they are soldiers. Although I did read about how Drazar, who's a Drukhari, who might have been the first striking Scorpion's Phoenix Lord, killed 3 custodians on his own. That's pretty legit. But like, he's a super duper character. The Harlequins did not kill a bunch of custodians. All right. No.
I believe my response to that is to quote Sam Jackson in the Avengers, I recognize the author, he's made a decision, but given that I don't like the decision and it's stupid, I'm ignoring it.
You're Grimaldus.
I certainly
your arms are noted and duly ignored.
I certainly won't judge the they kill all but 1,000 custodians. I'm really growing as a human being, but I'm not judging the fact that you think 7 Harlequins could do that. But I will say, having recently played,
are these Harlequins or Viltrumites?
Yeah, having recently played a little bit against Harlequins on tabletop, and then one blitzed straight into my World Eater Exalted 8-bound and killed loads of them. They are pretty nuts. I mean, it is a good point though. I think it'd be a really good thing. It makes a great point in the his comment where he says the Eldar should be more like, now that Gilliman's been revived, there could be a little bit of like Imperium versus Eldar, like straight up. I think there could be a little bit of that. Like there could be a thing of like, now that there's a sense of like Imperium stabilizing and a bit of hope or whatever, like maybe the Eldar could help them with like the Nachman Gauntlet, and then once that's finished, like elements of the Imperium that are like so zealous and horrible, they betray the Eldar, and the Eldar are like, okay, now we need them.
Yeah,
like because it makes the whole story grim dark again, and then it makes it so like the Eldar like, oh, we helped you, we brought back Gilliman, and now this is how you treat us, we hate you.
Well, there is like an interesting dichotomy that I discovered again doing my little deep dive into the Eldar lore. Like the reason Lelith Hesperax is helping out Ivrain is because he's like, well, can't go back to Comera. They're not going to revive me if I die. I'm going to put my lot in with the people who follow the literal god of the dead, because if I die, that's pretty good company to keep. Like, resurrect, like revive, respawn with Inyad, awesome. And that's basically the self-interested reason why the Drukhari are helping the Inari. That's quite a cool idea, but you have to have like a conflicting, like it's this or this, and if you lose one route, the only other one on death ground is to go with the alternative. And the Imperium wouldn't know any better. They're like, it's just Eldar, bang bang.
It's just
misunderstandings. Misunderstandings are the height of misunderstandings. Are great for Warhammer.
We listen and we do not judge that comment. But the next one though, Colin, by one of our strongest supporters, by Mike, the Lady Strongest Knight. Would you please read the group, Colin?
Is it about Bretonnia?
It is, but the elf goddess of Bretonnia being the elven goddess Lilith sucks. Not her being an elf, but Lilith being the lady in specific. I'm going to do some simplification because I'm not kidding. This in itself will be an 1.5 hour long video. Fair enough. But basically, Lilith was supposed to be the virgin, the maiden, the young goddess, the goddess of dreams, and such to use the dreams to talk to elves without technically breaking the law that Asurian made. Yes. But then some idiots over the course of a little while changed and said Lilith is the goddess of prophecy, which she isn't. That's supposed to be Morai Heg. And she's also Asurian's wife, which she isn't. That's I can never say that name. Landrael, who is her mom. She's also harvesting Bretonnian souls, manipulating to be immortal slaves. It's a lot of shit Lilith is doing, including manipulating Teclis to help end the world. She did, in fact, do that. She's also secretly Landriel, but Asurian is married to her, but isn't actually Landriel, which implies Lilith is her own mom and daughter, and Lilith likes talking to wood elves in dreams and is using the Bretonnians for meat shield for the wood elves, despite defending Bretonnia from the wood elves multiple times.
Oh my god.
To loop back around to her being Asurian's wife, is that Asurian let Landriel stay in the mortal planes because he loves her, and all Lilith really has to do is pretend to be Landriel, who may or may not actually be real, and trick him because she's the worst. And no, she can talk to the wood. I'm assuming you meant to write wood elves. She loves so much, except when she doesn't, but she just doesn't do that because, despite her wanting to, she also at one point starts a verbal fight with Isha, basically the goddess of the wood elves, which she's trying to protect, and Isha just doesn't know because.
Wow.
She then does that word that rhymes with, does bad things that do not involve consent with a wood elf. She does a lot of other dumb, horrible, evil things, which I won't list because of time, but now I'm How much of a pure innocent maiden does Lilith seen, and how much sense does it make? My
Wow.
understanding of that is that GW is flubbing, well, did flub Lilith in fantasy, which, yeah.
I'm just
I'm
going to
afraid-
say, I barely got half of that. It's more complicated than Norse mythology and all the interrelationships of the gods. Like, what's going on with who now?
Hey, shout out
And
to
who's
Mike
married
though,
who?
for following. Clearly, the man's
yeah.
done his homework. Clearly,
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like a very valid point. I don't know how to. I wouldn't judge anyone for clearly being upset with, like, once again, side races and not humans clearly getting the the writing part done inaccurately or inconsistent. It just seems like a common problem. Yeah, Mike is in the chat as well. He says, like, literally he hates that law.
I
Sorry,
believe
Mike.
Ladriel was I'm having a stroke. Just they revealed that she was an aspect of Lilith. That's something. Ironically, I think one of the best cases this was showed was the Percy Jackson series of all places, where in the sequel series, the Roman gods and the Greek gods are the same, but they're different aspects. So, like when Ares is in Mars mode, he's not Ares. He's not a rampaging moron. He's Mars, the Roman god of war, professional and to the point, and not a rampaging murder moron. When he's Ares, he's Ares, the god that's such a dickhead, even the Spartans didn't like him much.
He's the villain from Justice League. Come on, guys.
So
CGI abomination.
I mean, they could have done it better. I don't necessarily have a problem with her also being Ladriel, but it is what it is, unfortunately. And given that she is very dead in both settings, either end times or directly eaten by Slanesh in 40k, it can't hurt you anymore.
Yeah, she got it. She got what she deserved, like all elves in Elder Scrolls, not Warhammer.
Is that a shit sandwich? I'm already on the shit ragu. I don't mind.
Thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate that. The next one, again, we listen and we don't judge, Mr. Card Shark.
Mm-hmm. Good to see you, Card Shark. Again, shout out to Card Shark thrashing me at our poker night on Discord.
A very well chosen name.
Absolutely destroyed me. Hear me out. My least favorite part of Warhammer lore is how the Emperor is stuck to the Golden Throne. I hate the fact that Grand Wizard of Humanity is now a battery and a flashlight. I would solve this problem in a very crazy way. The Dark Eldar managed to recreate a flesh and bone puppet of the Emperor to sit on their own Golden Throne in Camorra. However, Jagatai Khan, who has been stuck in the gladiator pits, catches wind of this and steals it. Using the webway gate into the Imperial Palace, the Khan wrestles with Custodes and argues with Grey Knights. After much fights and angry words, the Grey Knights and Custodes replace the Emperor with the meat puppet. Whatever happens afterwards happens. Jagatai Khan mentioned, 10 out of 10.
It's really hard to not judge when someone says, replace the Emperor with the meat puppet.
The meat puppet.
The meat puppet.
It's certainly a phrase.
That is that's a tough pill to swallow, let alone probably smell, because that rotting meat puppet is literally cooked. He hates the fact that the Grand Wizard of Humanity. It's the fact that he called it the Grand Wizard, which I find hilarious. If anyone knows, that's a reference to a certain 3-lettered group out there. Which hilariously I've seen videos of. They've been recruiting from other sects of society because they haven't had enough members, which makes me laugh every single time. It's so stupid. I mean, that's certainly an opinion. That's a take. The Khan coming back and wrestling to put the meat puppet on the throne is. I don't think I've ever heard someone say that, like, ever. I just, yeah, there's much more to add to that one. Unfortunately, it's just the meat puppet.
I don't know. I feel like taking the emperor off the golden throne is. I don't like that.
Who's going to be the lighthouse? That's the only trouble. I mean, there was a whole like in Shroud of Night. There's a whole story about there's a civilian who sees the emperor and is blinded, and then he acts as like he's called the Beacon. And you go through the book; it's an Alpha Legion book, and it's all like, oh, this beacon must be impressive, and it's like it's just some guy called like Gary, and now the unsung have the Beacon, who's like a contingent lighthouse. I'm like, that's pretty cool. He's like a backup astronomicon. That's kind of cool. Like, what are you gonna do with him? I don't know. He's mine now.
Spare battery.
Gary, the backup astronomicon from accounting.
Yeah, and it's like really interesting that like in that, and there's a complete aside, like Khan rips off Celestine's wings in a fight in that book, and she's like, oh well, I'll be back again. But the only thing is with like Jagatai, my little what I'd like to see, and I because I've been reading Eldar stuff, I think it'd be cool if Jagatai came back and he was busying himself in Komara, and then he was like, hey, look, I don't like the Drukhari as much as anyone, but if they fall to chaos, if like chaos consumes Komara, that's like a big problem for the Imperium. So I'm going to do my best to make sure it doesn't fall to chaos, because that's just a headache. Like, can we just do that? And then he's not going to be like involved too much with the whole Primarch completely capsizing the setting, and then that could be fun. I don't know. I just want him back. I want my dad. Where's my dad? I want him back, please.
Seeing that, though, I think we had a few more, but again, unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to fit all of them in, though, because the rest of them are quite long. We do appreciate. We'll do one last one, though, just for the the shits and gigs, stuff like that. Before we get to that, though, there's a few more, I think, donos before we get to the.
We got a couple of donos. Shark Boromir. Colin. This one's for you, I think.
Thank you for the 5 CA. Fulgrim's has fantastic cheeks. Also, happy birthday, Colin.
Which cheeks, brother? Which cheeks? Don't leave us hanging. Oh,
the bum cheeks.
It is, in fact, Colin's birthday next year. Bean, $5. Kurz made an emperor meat puppet, and everyone called him crazy and deranged. I guess he was too smart for those plebeians.
They all laughed at me. Look at me now. Maximus Dius Manus, $5.
Good name.
I love Betrayer. My favorite Horus Heresy book yet, but Argotau trusting Erebus resurrecting Cyrene is so dumb, considering how much he hates him. Yeah. Not exactly the font of trust and wisdom and milk and honey. Man,
it's the fact that his demon literally says, don't trust Erebus, turn around, he's going to attack you. And he's like, what do you
Even I know that.
Like, bruh.
No, he's my friend.
No.
No.
Yeah, appreciate that, Rose. And then
it's just like afterwards.
Again, we listen and we don't judge. I think this one's going to be a bit divisive here.
Okay.
Which is, I'm choosing for the last one of the episode, which is by Helbrett's Strongest Sword Polisher. The names you guys are coming up with. We have Shalaxi's Wettest Gripper, Kabanda's Mighty Schlong of Cygnus, and Helbrett's Strongest Sword Polisher. Honestly, we're making a band. He says, why do people hate Matt Ward? I can understand a dislike of the volume, in brackets, amount of his books. But to me, the entire power fantasy of Space Marines is fulfilled by the way he writes his characters. Aren't Space Marines supposed to be overpowered and goofy, motherfuckers? The Grey Knight's Omnibus is the best example of this to me. Termes running in a straight line through the city infrastructure to save the Inquisitor. What more could you want?
Can I share a funny story I heard this week?
Sure.
So on Jug's podcast, Peachy was talking about he went to the doctor, and he was at the doctor just for a checkup thing, and he's like talking about, oh, what do you do? I do YouTube. Oh, I used to work at Games Workshop. So, oh yeah, my son used to do some writing for Games Workshop a few years ago. Oh yeah, what was his name? Thomas Ward. Such a weird story. Oh, Dr. Ward. Oh yeah, my son, the Tom Ward.
It really is a small world. It really is a small world. I would say
Your
I'm
one-winged angel
trying.
started playing.
I try not. I don't. Now, Matt, for the uninitiated, Colin, could you explain why perhaps Matt Ward is
So
has a reputation? Not bad.
Matt Ward
positive.
was a writer for Games Workshop who a lot of people just the least controversial thing, as I said, a lot of people just weren't a fan of his writing. They say he didn't write the best. The more glaring issue is that you could say he perhaps had some favorites. He was real big
Golden
fans
Child.
of the Grey Knights and the Ultramarines, and you would know it when an Ultramarine would tap dance into the warp, punch Khorne in the face, and then for the epilogue, defeat an entire Tyranid Hive fleet, just as a nice little side thing to cap off the book.
How many Avatar of Canes have been taken down by just one dude's, just one bloke? Like, we gotta. It must be at least like it's not double digits, but it's an uncomfortable number. Always like the
That's
avatar of a god.
That's a great question. So something. How about? Oh boy.
We're trying really hard not to be judgmental.
Where do I even start?
One,
All right. I'm gonna in defense of Matt Ward. He writes pretty good dialogue. He wrote a lot. He wrote most of the Vermintide 2 interactions, I believe, as well as helping write the Battlefleet Gothic 2's plot, which people overall, I mean, it's not, it's a strategy game plot. It's not the most, groundbreaking thing, but people seem to like it. It was neat. Also, he did make Trazen. That was Matt Ward.
Yeah.
So yep. he does have the occasional flash of brilliance. As for the first thing, consider that if you don't like the Ultramarines, or rather, even if you don't care either way, and then you find out Matt Ward is writing the enemy of the Book of the Ultramarines, and it's your favorite faction, it has gone for oh wow, my favorite faction's appearing in this book. I wonder what it's going to be about. Why are they all dead? What happened? Where did they go? This was supposed to be a fun book. Why is it just teabagging my army? That's kind of the problem with Matt Ward. It's like, yeah, well, believe it or not, there are people who like the not Space Marine armies in 40K. Or even beyond that, the not Ultramarine armies in 40K, and Matt Ward declaring that everyone wishes they could be Ultramarines probably sits poorly with a couple people.
Well, did he also create Kaldor Drago?
Yes, that one is.
Oh yeah,
well,
10 out of 10. Matt Ward, best writer. Done.
That's we listen opinion. And we don't judge certain parts. No. Okay. I just think that just to get onto Helbrecht's strongest sword polisher's exact point, which is he doesn't understand why, and he says he'd understand, like, obviously the issue clearly, Colin, is not like he wrote, you're if you're an antagonist, it's Jova. It's clearly the volume of books he has written might.
Well, he was saying like he understands people disliking the volume because he was a pretty prolific writer. But I think he is more referring to like the content of the books people don't like.
And to give Tom Ward a bit of a break though, he's handed the keys to the most popular faction in a setting that's.
Is that his dad?
What am I saying? I thought it was Tom Ward.
I keep saying Ward.
Matt Ward.
Matt Ward. I'm getting very confused. I'm old and I have dementia. Matt Ward. So Matt Ward, it's like he's given the keys to like the most profitable faction of a burgeoning setting of sci-fi, and you're told go nuts. Like, can you really blame him to being like, oh, the Ultramarines are the best thing ever? Like, they are the poster boys of the setting. Surely you have to make them like massively like OTT by virtue of that.
I think some of the issue comes. It's like you get a story with no stakes. It's
Because
it
yeah,
like
you
I
know
can
they're gonna win.
look
and
look. It's like I can draw on a piece of paper. Go, hey guys, here's my character. Here's my Warhammer 40K original character. He's stronger than the Emperor and the Chaos Guides combined, and he's the biggest guy ever, and he's the best, and he's the coolest, and he beats everyone up. It's like okay,
He's a
and then
dark,
also in this
mysterious
scenario,
past and all that stuff.
yeah, and also in this scenario, I'm an official Games Workshop writer, so you can't ignore it because I am writing the canon. And in the canon, this guy is canonically the bestest ever and better than the Ultramarines and cooler and amazing and the bestest. And fuck you, you can't stop me. I'm writing for GW. That's kind of like the attitude a lot of people see.
But we here are not judging that, and I'll say
No.
I'll finish it by saying he's done some pretty good stuff. As much as like way better than any of us lot here have contributed to Warhammer in terms of like the actual.
Yeah.
He gave us Pokemon Master of Warhammer 40K. What more do you want?
He did.
Greyfax, I choose
I
you.
will. My ending line is that I firmly believe if every faction had a Matt Ward in their corner, I think we'd be better off.
Matt Ward coming back to write Eldari. Crazy, right?
He did. He wrote the Iandon supplement. That's why I can never hate them. He wrote the only Eldar extra, like out of coded supplement.
On. What you're saying is we need to ask Matt Ward. We go Matt Ward. Pretty please. Could you write us a new book on the Leagues of Votann?
Please,
yes, be right
yes.
Was,
everyone needs him in their corner. Everyone needs one Matt Ward book.
With that being said, though, thank you guys for everyone who did their contributions. And just to kind of finish off very briefly here, this is a safe space. So we're all, if we can, I'm going to ask the boys if they have a hot take about Warhammer lore that they would, delete / or improve upon. I will start with, I think I kind of briefly mentioned it earlier. I don't know what I'd give up. I would maybe give up a good opportunity for a good holiday if Corvus Corax and Alfarius and Omegon were just like killed off. Like the legions, like
put them in the sun.
Corvus Corax and the Raven Guard died at Isfahan. It was like one time they had like stealthy Space Marines. The Alpha Legion, like an Omegon Alfarius, they had a civil war and they basically ended up killing each other. I would give, I would say a left nut. No, we're not. I would give something just to have those two factions, like those two legions and primarchs. Like, I don't think Space Marines should do espionage / stealth in some way. Like, I never thought, what I really thought about like my big tank. What if no one could see it until it was like 5 meters in front of you? Like, but as a narrative.
Have you seen the Abrams 10? That's scary. The Abrams 10 that Crystal Dynamics made was like, hey, you can't hear this thing approaching. It's a massive tank and it has like panels on it, so you can't see it in thermal. Like, that's terrifying. It already exists.
Sorry, shout out to Medical Incident in the chat. He says, Hal brings up a good point. Which nut is more important? Appreciate that, brother. Colin, is there anything in Warhammer lore you would like controversially, no one's gonna agree maybe, but you would delete it? Don't say Space Marines because that's nuts.
There was a wry smile there. It's like you were like, how much damage can I do in one sentence?
You know me too well. How annoying do I want to be?
We listen and we don't judge. It's fine. I mean, no judgment here. You can go.
I think it'd be funny to delete Horus, but don't change the Horus heresy at all, and just have him be this collective delusion of everyone involved.
No, that's no. Sorry, no judgment. No judgment. Not sure how that would work.
I don't either, but
it was
funny. It's the Emperor on the bridge of the Vengeful Spirit yelling at nothing and swinging his sword at nothing before he just falls over dead.
Turns out like Horus actually died. Like he gets to the throne bit and Horus has been dead because the chaos powers killed him.
No, he died in the Great Crusade. the orcs at Willenor got him.
And he's like a myth because for the Emperor just wrecking, going crazy. Wow.
I think the actual serious thing probably get rid of.
Someone says, "Oh, yeah." Someone says Space Wolves. Would you?
Yeah, I'd be pretty content with that, honestly.
Colin would kill the Space Wolves. Damn.
Delete the end times.
Delete the end. I don't know if that's controversial. I think.
Yeah,
I mean, they kind of did almost in some way. They're bringing back a new time period for Old World. Andy, controversially, what would you kill? What's a piece of Warhammer lore you're like, that sucks, man?
Does it have to be like something I outright remove, or can I just put like a wrench in the gears?
Do what you want.
I would like, and this is going to be a bit controversial. I want more primarchs now than later. Reason being, we need to get on with like the end times. You could have the Emperor go in a coma. You could have him almost die and cut off his astronomical light. Let's get these primarchs out of here before I become 70 so that I can enjoy them before I die. And then maybe bring on the end times so we can like step it up a notch rather than a lot. Like since Plague Wars, it's been a bit of like, it's a bit grim. Oh, I'm Imperium Nihilus. It's scary. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Where's Jagatai? Where's the Wolf King? Where's Vulcan? Bring him back. Is Dawn dead or not? Make up your mind. Come on. Does he still like the whole fermented poop toilet thing that was in the original Imperial Fist lore? Grim. But either way, it's like let's get on with these prime. Let's go. Let's bring him back now.
You know what? I think that's the most.
Like, no, we've got enough.
Yeah, I say that'd be the most controversial, like out of anything. Bring more Primarchs back. I don't think, and as the first time I've actually heard someone say that.
Because again, the idea is cut off the Astronomicon or severely limit it. Galaxies cut in two. Have the stakes raised. Have a counter be more Primarchs, and then balance out. Okay, now we're going to maybe have some chapter masters die, replaced with Primarchs. Step it up a notch. Alliances with weird bedfellows, like maybe the Drukhari and the Tau. I don't know. Make something interesting happen. Come on. I'm getting old. I want to see this wrap up before I die.
I could also kill the Tau. I could kill the Tau.
I just came to a realization, which fuck you, by the way, but it is related. Get rid of the Damocles Crusade. I'm sick of hearing about it. Every time it's brought up, everyone involved is the most annoying human being you'll ever talk to. It's annoying Tau fans who seem to think like the entire Imperium lost. It's like they blew up every Imperial Guard regiment at the time. It's like they all blew up. It's like that did not happen. And then you go to the Imperium fans and it's like the Imperium actually won. It's like, well, there's still a Tau Empire. No, they didn't. They also didn't win. It's like everyone involved, any discussion of the Damocles Crusade, it's just they become the most annoying person on the internet for that brief moment in time. I'm sick of hearing about it. You're all dumb. I hate you. Thank you for watching.
Although I will say the White Scars were in that campaign and they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool.
I mean,
they let them off. They were like, you can go.
If I had legit control, though, like if it was Horus Heresy stuff, I'd kill off so many people, man. It'll be nuts. There's already a lot of people that don't. I'd kill off entire legions and people. I don't think Lorgar should be alive. Korax, Alfarius, Omegon should be like. Funny enough, I think Conrad Curtis should be alive as like a mad raving, like the human version of the Skaven, just like lunatic and raving man.
Have the Drukhari find the crown and bring him back with the homunculi. Use the Spirit Stone in the crown, combine it with homunculi magic. Now he's a champion not of his own legion, which causes strife between the Night Lords and the Drukhari, and then he can have a war with Vect. That would be cool.
Rogal Dawn should be dead. Perturabo should be dead. You
balanced it out.
Vulcan should be dead. Like, you know who else? You know who?
No. What about the great treasure hunt that's going on? The great treasure hunt is
Fair.
awesome.
Bro,
Yeah,
has anyone in your life ever said, another controversial one here? Has anyone ever said, God, I'm so desperate for another Vulcan novel? No.
Well,
No.
Nick
the
Kime.
trouble is right now, I was going to say Nick Kime is the editor of Black Library. We don't want to tempt him. Not right now. Wait till he's not the editor anymore, and then we can get someone else to write a Salamander's book. But right now, it's dangerous. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Well, we tried not judging boys, but at the end it got there. Thank you guys for listening to this is the first episode of We Listen and We Don't Judge. I think we might do some more improvements on it just because I think it's an all right concept.
And tell us what you think.
Yeah, tell us what you think.
I like that we get to interact with the Discord and have a chat about stuff and get.
Yeah, there'll be more prompts as well that we'll ask you guys, and obviously if you can, please help us out. Obviously join the Discord. We have merchandise and stuff. Subscribe, all that good stuff. Other than that, I hope you guys all enjoyed this one, and if you like it, we'll do some similar stuff, or even more cursed questions even. Go, Colin.
Are there a last few donos we should run through?
Oh yeah. Sorry, I might
have some donos to cap off as well. I was gonna say, Artie23 for £5. What do you guys think about the Cabal being wiped out? Because Lamau, we don't care. You're actively going against Chaos, and how would you fix it? Cabal was an interesting time.
It's a fart in the wind.
The Cabal is a nothing burger of a storyline, dude. Remember they teased
the thing.
There was an old one in the Cabal, and then Eldrad killed them off screen. It's like, you don't think that's worth developing on?
Well, related to that with Eldrad, what about Barfuza Narek, the renegade word bearer that wants to assassinate Lorgar, his own Primarch? Where did that go? He's in one line. End in the death, he's just there like, I'm just sniping. He's the sniper from TF2. He's like, I think his mate saw me. Yes, he did. And that's all he has in the siege of End in the Death. And it's like, why was this here? Anyway, would you guys want to
Optimus Jedi for $2? Perpetuals equals the worst concept in 30k, excepting Erda. The dialogue is good with some of the Perpetual characters, I will say that, but the whole plot line, they could have done something else with there's a lot of mortal human plot lines that could have been more interesting.
Although it's like that meme though of just like, we're gonna put Erda in for more female representation, and it's like, what's she do? Fuck it, I'm gonna ruin the Primarch. It's like, oh, that was an own goal, mate. What was that about? Oh,
dies in 2 books.
Poor Erda. Yeah.
Interesting character. Dies in 2 books. Bruh.
Yeah. Own goal. Hello, Light. I don't know if you guys talked about it, but I don't like 40k introducing this new galaxy-ending weapon and having it do fucking nothing. I hope whatever Vastra is searching is actually used or useful. Vastra is a weird one because I like that we have new characters, but it's also like he hasn't had time to grow.
It takes 10 years to get a second book.
He's a very cool character concept. I like the shtick he's got. It's just maybe do something with him. Maybe use them to bring back Dark Mechanicus. Do something with them.
But again, this is also why I might bring back the Primarchs quicker, because it's like we got to get them out of the way too. Like we got a lot to do,
and then kill them off.
Execute them in the streets.
Donkey Man USA for $5. I was running a D&D session with Homebrew Skaven and a big bad Greyseer villain. And the big bad Greyseer villain of the session rolled poorly and blew himself up immediately. FML.
That is, look, man. There's nothing more Skaven than what just happened.
That's incredible. Colin, oh,
wow.
Medicare insulin again. Thank you for the 5. I think Colin with a J at the end of my name. That's a new one.
The name's getting worse.
Is the strongest host. He shared his debilitating disease, while the others won't let us know their plagues. We should infect them. What is bro on about?
Does bro want to know our
Medicare? I've got asthma. There you go. I've got asthma.
I can't share my disease. This one doesn't spread.
I don't feel shame. That's a disease.
Sharkborn Meyer with the 5 CA. Hey, Colin is the Space Wolf's biggest fan. What are your thoughts on the new release? Look, I will accept when a model looks good, and those new Space Wolf models, they do look pretty sick.
Nice.
Can I be honest and you don't judge me?
Of course.
As is this.
We listen and we don't judge.
Fire away.
I first saw the new Logan mini on Instagram when I woke up and scrolled through. At first, I thought it was a 3D print by a third party. That's not that I thought it was bad. I just didn't realize.
Ooh.
I didn't realize that Games Workshop would make a Logan mini without him on his chariot, and it made me go, "Huh?"
I
And
do
then
think
was
that
like, "Oh, it's
the
real.
chariot
It's a real
is
one."
the chariot is crazy. I mean, they're
Iconic.
crazy.
It's
But
iconic.
just
Yeah.
lean into it though. Don't be afraid of it.
I'm also pretty happy that the Wolfland boat is gone, though. I'm not going to shed tears over that one going to hell. I'm going to be honest with you.
Tom Warren for $2. He says he made a meme about Gary in the Discord. So if you want to go see that, you go
Ooh.
check that out.
Check out the Discord. Lewis, 1945 for $2. Where Gilliman and Lion reunion? They'll kiss.
True. I think it's a
Gilliman?
last one by
Lion?
they're just
That'll
never
be
gonna meet.
Imperium Nihilus. Bean.
Wow, that's a horrible thing to say.
Do you want to take that one, Colin, then?
Sure, Bean with the 5. One of you looks like a stunted scamp from Oblivion, but I won't say who. Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ. Well,
To be fair, I also saw a comment, I think it was from Light earlier, going like, Andy looking like a GTA 4 NPC that gives you a mission. But yeah, what of it?
I look like homeless Mr. Beast, I've been told. Do what you will with that.
I still think neither of those are as bad as a stunted scamp from Oblivion, bro.
As long as we make the sound effects, it's fine.
Thank you guys for turning up for the first We Listen and We Don't Judge. Appreciate you all. Again, Discord, links, merchandise. Well, if you want to see more, subscribe, obviously, of course. And we'll catch you guys on the next one for a regular Lore podcast episode. Thank you guys. Love you guys. See you soon.
See you, everyone.
Oh, no. I said I love it in the thing. You said, like, I love you.